Hi, my name is Professor Reed. I am the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs. But in behalf of our Vice Chancellor, I have the distinct privilege of introducing our guest of honor today. Professor Margaret Kobia is the Chairperson of the Public Service Commission of Kenya. She is an Associate Professor of Management and Entrepreneurship. Professor Kobia's role is to provide leadership on policy direction on human resource management and development in the public service. In her current capacity, Professor Kobia is also the chair of the Judicial Service Commission of Kenya, the Committee on Audit, Governance, and Risk Management, responsible for oversight of good governance in the judiciary. And it is Professor Kobia's committee that has just completed the work of helping us to identify a new Chief Justice and Deputy Justice or Justices for our judicial system here in Kenya. And we can thank the Lord for the work that they have done. Prior to joining the Public Service Commission, she was the founding Director General of the Kenya School of Government, where she also served as the Director and CEO of the Kenya Institute of Administration and made a profound contribution in transforming the institution into a truly modern school of government. In recognition of her distinguished service and contributions to national development, she was awarded the Order of the Grand Warrior and First Class Order of the Chief of Burning Spear by the President of Kenya in 2007 and 2009, respectively. Professor Kobia is the winner of the Commonwealth Gordon Draper Award of 2010 for her strong leadership and outstanding contributions in improving public administration in the Commonwealth. She is the chief editor of the refereed African Journal of Public Administration and Management. Finally, as an active academic, Professor Kobia continues to supervise PhD students enrolled in various universities. I would like for you to welcome with me very well our chief guest of honor, Professor Margaret Kobia.
Thank you very much for that elaborate introduction. I'm really humbled to be here this morning. Therefore, I'll just say a few messages that I thought they are going to be appropriate for a day like today. The Chancellor, Dr. Jerry Rabat, the Chair of the Board of Trustees, the University Council, the Vice Chancellors here, Professor Lea Marango, the Deputy Vice Chancellors, members of the University Senate, members of the University Management, the faculty, distinguished guests, parents, the class of 2016, ladies and gentlemen. It is really an honor and privilege for me to be here this morning to celebrate with you, graduates, parents, the faculty, the entire university community, on the 19th African Nazarene University graduation ceremony. I'm particularly humbled and thank God for all of you for the opportunity that I can stand here before my Professor Lea Marango, who I had the privilege of going through her hands at Kenyatta University, and I would like you to give a good hand. Thank you. Professor Lea Marango is an icon regarding development of higher education nationally and internationally. Let me just point out that I also want to thank Dr. Jerry Rabat for supporting Professor Lea Marango and her husband when they were working in the US, and seeing that seed that they had regarding higher education globally, and asked them to come and start this great university, which is an example in Africa. My message and what we learn from that is the value of identifying potential and how good it is, Dr. Rabat, to have identified a potential in somebody and letting them know, and then got the courage to take that challenge. I think all of us need somebody who can identify our potential and tell us we have what it takes to move forward and make that contribution. I went to congratulate the class of 2016. This is a milestone in your lives that will never be forgotten. I also want to take a lot of pride to your parents and guardians who have invested heavily in higher education for the purpose of giving you an opportunity and education that will make you have a contribution to the community, to the society, to the entire global world. What now we can ask ourselves, the education that you have been given here is meant to transform you. And when we talk about transformation, it's being from one form to the other for better. So the question I would ask is, what will education you have received from this university help you, or what will it make you as an individual and as a society? Let me also thank the university for having this particular day, because this is, in my view, an accountability day. The parents have given you these students, and it reaches a time that you go out and demonstrate. We as a university, we are accountable. We can show the world, this is what we have done with the product that you gave us. So can we give a clap to the university for being accountable? Ladies and gentlemen, I note that there are about 1,400 students who are graduating here today. And I believe, and this is very key in my view, through my experience, I do believe that what matters most is for you to define your success, set goals, plan, and take action. It is very important for us to ask ourselves as we sit here this morning, what will you be, who will you be 10 years from today? You must spend 1 second thinking about that, because what determines what you are going to be 10 years from today is the education that you have received here and who you are truly are. I urge all of us to see what contribution this education you have received from this great university is to make you in the 10 years that will come before you. As you live here today, there will be many uncertainties because we are living in a world that has challenges. The uncertainty that we are going to meet is sometimes unknown in our lives. You may have some fear and anxiety, but most importantly, it can prevent us from growing, learning, and experiencing real life. I urge you to step out with courage, because you have what it takes to succeed. Sometimes we will experience fear, and in my view, a small amount of fear is necessary. However, do not allow fear of the unknown to overwhelm you, class of 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, the great and curious truth of human experience is that selflessness is the best thing you can do for yourself. Do not spend a lot of time doing things for yourself because you are going to lose passion, but you'll find passion if you strive to serve. And I know that what is this university has been trying to ingrain into you, that service to others as you serve yourself. You must have had the purpose for acquiring this degree. You must also ask, what is your purpose reflect your purpose on earth. Let me also point out the previous speakers. They have brought out quite a number of key messages that I also had. The fact that there is that overlap, to me, in my view, tells us how important are those messages that are coming across. And I think that's why we are here today, so that we can pick 2 to 3 messages that can truly influence who we are going to be as a human being in this country. We must also ask ourselves, what are the real challenges of this country, Kenya? And I think without going very far, we all know it has something to do with the poverty, unemployment, tribalism, corruption, just to name a few. That's why I find this topic of today, or the theme of today's graduation, advancing innovation and entrepreneurship, being very fitting, so that we can see at individual level, at organizational level, and at national level, how can we confront those challenges. You are graduating when the environment is changing so rapidly, and you are bound to encounter some level of frustrations. You must knock on many doors, and when you fail, you must pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and knock again. It is the only way you can achieve your set goals. Stay knowledgeable to build a self-confidence and competitive advantage. When you are free from the self-doubt, you can accept criticism and don't become preoccupied with the failure, but you learn from it and move on. Don't get stuck in a typical thinking of Kenyans that there will be no job for me, or you are waiting for somebody to get you a job. But I want to say this morning, your destiny is in your own hands. And I think all of us, that's why I wanted us to focus. What will we be? Who are we going to be 10 years from now? What is the determinant on making us be what you will be those 10 years to come now? It starts from what you think today, what you think this week, what you think next month, and the dreams that you have. We are also reminded that dreams and ideas are nothing. You must wake up and the action by taking a specific activity for each one of them, and then they will lead to success. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself right here, right now, is to value the network you have created by your stay at this university. Your graduating class, other students who are still here, your faculty, administrators, the entire university community make your great networks. The network you get from this university is maintained will add value and meaning to your life. Do not forget those connections you have made while you are here. We can say as an experience, those who are sitting in front of you and within us, that the networks that we created are what have made us be where we are. We are told your networks are your net worth. Let me also look at to what extent most of us are thinking we should be employed. But today's theme is reminding us we should think of how we can focus on employability rather than employment. To our graduates today, even as you plan to enter the world of work, one question you will need to ask is, how employable am I? One way of getting the answer to this question is attempting to find out why particular people are able to get jobs or create jobs while others do not, while others fail. Often, the most successful of us at job search or self-employment are those who are knowledgeable, who have the competencies, who have the networks, who have a positive outlook, so that they have that competitive advantage to be able to be considered. It saddens me when most of the graduates are convinced by what politicians say, there are no jobs. If you move out thinking there are no jobs, that's what happens. But if you think you have an opportunity for jobs, that is what is going to happen. It depends with what you pray for. Therefore, in my view, you need, even if you had no job at all, there are very many organizations that require your service, community service. Sometimes people tell me, no, I have nothing to do because I don't have transport to reach somewhere. I want to submit to you, even the nearest church to you, the nearest school to you, many people have been able to find something to do profitably because they started by volunteering. And after volunteering, you also are able to figure out what are you good at, and you have been able to get that competitive advantage when you go to look for the job. Therefore, let me also point out that it also saddens me working for Public Service Commission when I meet very many parents and they tell me, please help my daughter, help my son, who is staying at home and is depressed, and they can't get a job. I can tell you for sure, I already know that is the wrong person. If the parents are going to look for a job for you, while you are at home because you are depressed, you don't have a job, I do not expect that to come from Nazarene University. I think I've heard from Rumini and also the best student. What they have spoken here this morning says what kind of seeds have been planted in you. So go out there, face the world, look for something to do, you will get. Don't listen to politicians when they tell you there are no jobs. In my view, politicians want you to tell you that you have no job because they want us to remain poor, and when we are poor, they are able to manipulate us. So you must rise above that. Let me look at what are the opportunities from public sector. In the public service where I work, for example, we have now adopted a competency-based framework. That is, what can you do as you appear before us for any interview? What is this that you can do? And when you talk about competency, it's more of the total sum of your abilities. And we are focusing on those competencies for the job rather than the subject knowledge. I therefore wish to take the opportunity to urge our students and graduates that our public sector is undergoing major transformation in ways that are already making it an employer of choice. We have seen a lot of people coming from private sector to join the public service because it's becoming, for those who want to make a contribution in the service. To those of you who are keen on developing a professional career after graduating, never hesitate to consider joining public service. You must ask yourself, are you wanted for public service? Then that is the right door to knock. Joining the public service thus promises a rewarding career and a professional development opportunities through graduate level education and training. And I can tell you for sure, some of us who have been in the public service, I think one thing we get come our way as an opportunities, those for to train in various areas. Turning back to the theme of today's graduation theme, which I find very, very suitable and well befitting, opportunities in innovation and entrepreneurship. So we want to find out, as we talk about innovation and entrepreneurship, what is innovation? Maybe it might be easy to say, but we want to say economists have already defined what is innovation and is coming up with any new product, innovative, to come up with something new product. It may be new markets, it may be new processes or new ways of doing things differently, new system that create value. With that in mind, as you live here then as class of 2016, I believe at this point, many of us are asking, themselves silently. Then why innovation and entrepreneurship is receiving a lot of global attention? What does it take to these graduates who understand for the labor market? What does innovation mean if you are thinking of just joining the labor market? From the global narrative, innovation, it is easier to be regarded as a phenomenon for other cultures out there. But I'm happy to note in Kenya, there's been a lot of innovation around us. We are reminded the M-Pesa. We are reminded many approaches in advances of technology that have completely changed the way things are done. And I was even reflecting, I was thinking that even as a university, what will the universities of the future look like with these innovations, with these new technologies? Perhaps there might even be no need for people to be in a formal class. So to what extent are universities in Kenya preparing them to be the universities of the future, maybe 10, 20 years ago? That is something that we need to reflect on and to put some action to it so that you can remain relevant. So what innovation simply means is finding a new way so that you can remain relevant and add value to yourself, to your environment, and the community. Well, in the process of researching for materials for these remarks, I stumbled upon some comparing evidence in African Nazarene University who have already lived on this, what it begins here, meaning what it means, what it begins at Nazarene University transforms the world. There is enough comparing reason why we should be proud products of this university. To mention a few, past graduates and students of this university have excelled in a number of innovative ways. One, technology and entrepreneurship as exemplified by the case of Sam Kitone, who established a disruptive financial technology startup company, which he later acquired at a price, it was acquired at a price $1.7 US. Can we give a clap? It means Kitone, who is a graduate of this university, is an entrepreneur, because once you start a company and it's doing well, then you sell it and move to something else. That means you create jobs, you create wealth. Two, an international scholarship is found in the case of Ken Owino, a 2014 class graduate who clinched the 2015 Erasmus Mundus Scholarship, a prestigious European Union scholarship in journalism. Can we clap for him? You cannot clinch an award of that nature if you are not bringing something new through innovation. Three, Peter Olemasian recently was featured in a national TV where he had manufactured a cactus juice. Nobody knew you can get juice from cactus. I watched that. Thus creating job for himself and for the community. And he is selling it. He has employed members of the community. So if in this particular university we can see students, graduates who have come up with innovative way of creating a new product in the form of a juice, employing the community, employing himself, then we cannot search from far. That means God has truly blessed this university. And the last one is on conservation, seen in the case of Rona Ruto, a 2008 graduate who won the 2015 Green Save the Planet Award category and at the Transformation of Kenya Award. We give this a clap, all of them. I'm also aware some of the graduates from this university have even been given an award on under 40. That recognition, that means even before you can start getting the recognition within 40, within 30, 40. And for those of us who we are returning back to school, I think we must appreciate in this country, education has become more accessible than it was before in our times. And that means anybody who wants to have more knowledge, universities like Nazarene are open doors to make your dreams come true. Among many more, these are examples that can help confirm that Nazarene University has set a tradition of excellence as demonstrated by the success registered by its past students. The call on every one of us today, therefore, is to go out there in great confidence as you follow in the footsteps of these outstanding alumni. In identifying opportunities, first we must identify opportunities. Many of us identify opportunities. Take the next step of faith, exploit that opportunity. And after you exploit the opportunity, that's how you become innovative and you create something new. And I believe this university has given you what it takes to be able to use innovation and entrepreneurship to create job for you, to get job for yourself, the community, and the people around you, and that's how we improve this nation. Of course, we are getting a lot of literature where Africa is doing very well in terms of GDP, in the region of 5.5 to 6, but I do believe any improvement in quality of life, we start at individual level. We start at individual level, then the family, then the communities, and that totality, I think that's what can transform this country to eliminate or to reduce the levels of poverty and unemployment. I thought I should also have a message for this university. Drawing from the character of this particular university and drawing from a strong Christian foundation, as Africa Nazarene University graduate, you have had a benefit of undergoing a unique spiritual Christian formation that separates you from the rest. And I can say, from an employer's point of view, we ask, what is the character of a graduate of Nazarene University? What is the character of a student from Kenyatta University? What's from Mount Kenya University? You have an advantage that you have been given a holistic education based on Christian values from this university. And the classes that have gone ahead of you have already distinguished themselves. So I urge you, that bar that has been raised, please do not bring it down. You can only take it up. Thank you. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank the university management and the community for what they have done for you as graduates of 2016. And now I want to appreciate the role of the university in terms of as an agent of development. I was here when the university was getting a charter. I think I came when you are opening another hall, and I'm now here and I can see the difference this university has made around the community. Therefore, it is truly an agent of development. Can we clap for that? Because this is what we are looking as a nation to develop and improve the quality of life for the entire nation. And for the parents, I urge the parents here today to release these graduates and let them face the world of work. The reason why I'm saying this, due to advances in technology, changes in the lifestyle, we are finding where parents are not releasing their graduates. They are still treating them as they are still their children. But I'm saying today, please release them to face them in the world of work, because if you hold them, you are not helping them. But if you let them to go out and face their world, I think it will be good for them. Therefore, I would submit that if they need your help, they will seek for it. They are now of age and well educated from this university. Clinging on your graduated sons and daughters is not helpful anymore. Let them go out there and start life journey with the fear of God, which is the beginning of wisdom. Let me also appreciate, of course, there's a generational gap between us and the graduates seated here because of the way the environment is changing. But I would also urge you, look what is good in the changing environment, run with it. What is not good for our culture or does not support you, let's discard this. From the Public Service Commission, there will always be a job opportunities at the Public Service Commission, but what kind of a person is the employer of today looking for? The employer of today is looking for people who have acquired higher education, have integrity, positive outlook, good interpersonal skills, and most of all, having fear of God in their own lives and in everything that they do. So it is very important, even as we are looking for jobs, you should understand what does the industry or what does the employer is looking for. And even when we create our own enterprises, I'm sure even when you as an employer, you start as a startup, as an entrepreneur, you start in your own organization. If you are to bring in, you want to look for people with integrity, you want people with a positive outlook, with the people who see opportunities. I think this is what I would want to share, that because I know out of here, some will look for jobs, other ones will be job creators, and you must know what is the world looking for. To the Kenyan government, I wish to recognize the government for its commitment in supporting higher education in this country. You are aware that 30% of our budget goes to higher education, and I think that the government gives this budget because government truly believes education is what would help it achieve Vision 2030 and transform this country. So I want to mention that there are various regulations, acts, and laws that are coming in place just to improve higher education. As the government continue to facilitate the socioeconomic growth through education, let us all in Kenya be very patriotic to our country and only talk that which is positive, rather than most of the time to spend a lot of our time, even as educated people, complaining, whining, and talking to what is negative. Every time you talk something which is negative, it does not grow you. But if you say, out of this difficult situation, what is that is positive, then you can be able to move on. So let's appreciate the government has given us the environment to access higher education more than before. And I think with that, then we must be able to see a difference. And you will be held accountable, because as you go through this education as a class of 2016, somebody, somewhere in terms of our parents, your relative, the government have invested in you. So everybody will be looking on return on investment as soon as you leave here. Thank you very much for your kind attention.